Hey guys, welcome to the Professional Fangirl. On today's episode, we're going to talk about cosplaying. Joining me today on the Professional Fangirl is Drew. He is a director, but he's also worked on some pre-production design for some of my projects.
Hi, I'm Drew. One of the things that we're here to talk about is creating costumes. I've just gotten into cosplay. Been a fan of it since I was a child, and I just introduced my son into comic book conventions and cosplay.
So if you don't know what cosplay is, it's basically a merging of the words costume and playing. Is that what it is? So costume playing. At Comic-Con, at Dragon Con, at Anime Expo, people dress up as their favorite characters from video games, TV shows, anime, and they basically live their little costumed life for a moment.
One of the things that I use to choose the characters is a little tidbit, something about the characters that relates to me in some certain way. So it's not just me picking a character at random, it's actually somebody that means something to me. Like one of the last costumes that I started working on was Wonder Man, who's a superhero through Marvel, and he is hit with some radiation. He was an actor, former actor or something, and so he became like the face of superheroes because he was in the spotlight. It was kind of something that kind of I gravitated towards.
So if you think cosplay is just some form of playing, it actually is a professional industry. People who have cosplayed and have made their own costume designs, their own costumes, have made it in the film industry.
A lot of the people that I've seen that do cosplay, it's not actually a profession. It's a hobby that sometimes they get paid to do. They don't get paid to go to the shows. They get invited as guests, and so they'll have to raise the money on their own to travel to them. None of them actually look at it as a profession, but it's more of a hobby that they get to enjoy through other people.
So you said that they get into these cons pretty much for free?
Some of the time. I wouldn't say a lot of the time because they still have to pay for like room and board, and sometimes they even have to pay for their passes, but they get tables and sometimes they get in for free. It takes some time and it takes a lot of dedication to figuring out how to make the costumes and what makes the best looking costume. And it's not about what looks best, it's what you feel is good about your costume. It's not what other people think. But the more heart you put into your costume, the more people are going to see that and the more people are going to enjoy it. And that's when people get asked to go to conventions.
So Drew's going to share some of the stuff that he's been working with and learning about. So go for it.
Okay. Well, this is one of my latest tools. It's a hole punch, and what it does, it's got 6 sizes of holes, and what I used it for was to create the holes for these spikes on my shoulders here. It has different holes, and if you can see that, there's a little tiny hole there. I punched that a while ago. What I use the hole punch for is going to grow. I'm going to use it for different spikes, and I'm going to make belts to attach to my vest. I'm actually using a comic book as inspiration for what I'm going to do to the finished product on this vest. It's not finished yet, so got a lot of detail to put into it still. Also, I've brought some accessories. I'm going to a post-apocalyptic themed camping trip at the end of September, and this is one of the things that I actually picked up from last year's. It's called Wasteland Weekend, and this was something that we actually traded for in the camp, so there's a lot of bartering. That one's actually one of my favorites, but let's see, I've also got my Wonder Man outfit that I just made for Stockton Con. So my first costume that I made with some help from friends. One of the things that I like to do actually is I'm gonna start learning how to do some of the more of the processes, so I can do them on my own.
So I'm not into cosplaying. The most I've ever cosplayed has been a Pikachu, and all I did was throw on a Pikachu onesie, and that was it. But where do you get your inspiration from to make costumes?
Well, a lot of the inspiration comes from either movies or comic books, or actually, I've even wanted to cosplay from just a book that I've read, and no pictures involved. So it's one of those where the inspiration is limitless, as long as you can think of the characters and imagine them for yourselves. One of the characters that I want to do a costume for is from this comic book, Desolation Jones. And he was a science experiment who had a radiation treatment, and one of the results was he kind of doesn't feel a whole lot of pain.
Kind of like Kick-Ass?
A little bit like Kick-Ass. His costume's kind of flashy and kind of bright, and it looks kind of punk, post-apocalyptic. It's a very long trench coat and big like pants and stuff, and I thought it would go well with the post-apocalyptic camping that I'm going to at the end of September. One of my sources of inspiration was this book, Honor Amongst Punks. It's got a jacket kind of like the vest that I'm wearing right now. It's a source of inspiration. This one's steampunk fashion. Most of the stuff I found in here happens to be for females. So there's the steampunk accessories that I found also, and one other one that I have that I didn't bring with me was a how to build steampunk accessories, like the goggles. It's kind of a standard for steampunk cosplays.
So Drew is actually going to join us on our channel, vlogging all his exploits with costume making, cosplay making. His vlog is called Building Character, and he's going to be doing one a month on Films by Neptune's channel.
What I'd like to do with Building Character is, since I am starting out new to the cosplay community, what I'd like to do is share some of the things that I've learned, and if I can get any costume makers or cosplayers out there to come join me for an interview or sit down, I'd like to see other characters' experiences, what got them into making cosplay, and tips from them that I can share with newcomers like myself.
So his show is going to premiere in September, but if you want to watch more Professional Fangirl, click on the link on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to the Films by Neptune channel and like us on Facebook. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is cha_Apostol. Do you have a Twitter?
I do. It's CB Drew. I'm not on there very often, but check it out.
See you guys.